Have you ever been sitting outside and just before the sun comes up, you can swear you see a memory that has happened in that exact place? Of all the times this has happened, it has been about my grandpa. Now, from the time I could walk, I spent every minute I could at my grandparents' house. Now, my grandpa, he couldn't read or write, so everyday life wasn't always the easiest for him. He had to work for everything that he had. He also had a great sense of humor. He was hilarious, and as he got older, my grandpa developed Alzheimer's. But even though it affected his memory, he was always able to make the best of everything, even though he faced some difficulties and even though he didn't have an education. Now, one of my most memorable memories would have been when I was little, and he always told me I had to go to school. He told me school was one of the most important things in life. Now, when I was younger, I didn't understand why, but now as I get older, I understand. He didn't want me to face the same struggles as he did. Now, although he couldn't read or write, he didn't let it slow him down. He always had a steady job, and he was able to support 5 kids without any help from the state or anything like that. Now, I remember one day going to his work, and all of his co-workers and everybody else, they were just cutting up and all that stuff. And as I was leaving, the secretary told me I was lucky to have such a hoot of a grandpa, and she was right. And growing up, one of my favorite things about my grandpa was his sense of humor. He always had not only me, but everybody around him laughing all the time. Anywhere he went, he had people laughing, from people we knew to even strangers that we had just met. He used to always tell me this one specific joke about fishing, and I had heard it about 1,000,000 times. But no matter how many times he had told me, he always was able to make it funny. Now, as my grandpa aged and his Alzheimer's got worse, he was still able to make people laugh. He never lost his sense of humor or his ability to make jokes. Now, Alzheimer's was something that affected my grandpa tremendously. Towards the end of his life, he did not come lucid very often. But when he did, he was always able to give us, our family, wise words. But through these wise words, one of the very last things he said to my family, well, to me and my dad actually, was that he did not want his death to tear our family apart. He was the backbone of our family and kept us all together all the time. That was one thing that me and my dad promised, was to make sure that we stayed together and as a family. He also told me not to let anybody determine my worth and to work hard for whatever I wanted. Throughout the 12 short years that I got to know my grandpa, he made a lasting impact on my life. And as I get older and I complain about how hard school is or how hard life has been, even though it's really not that bad, I was reminded that things could be worse, and my grandpa was always able to make the best out of any situation he had. And that his lasting, not just his words, but more like what he wanted me to learn, was to work hard for what I wanted and to always believe in myself. Thank you.